This is Gangrel, the Vampire Warrior, and you're fanging and banging with Monty and the Pharaoh.
Actually, the best thing, if you're injured, is to grow up and be a man. Come on.
All right, welcome back. That was a quick 15 minutes to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monty and the Pharaoh, only seen here at Village Connection Radio. And to the left is none other than WWE pro wrestling great Tatanka.
Thank you, man. It's a pleasure to be here on the Monty and Pharaoh show.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And to the right is none other than the star of the show, Jimmy Pharaoh.
Back again?
Back again after a great interview with Mr. Tony Atlas, Mr. USA Tony Atlas. So, you got him. Let's go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. May I introduce our esteemed guest today? Born Chris Chavis, June 8th, 1961, North Carolina. Residence, of course, is right here in the United States. 4 children. Professional wrestling career, he's gone under several names, but of course we know him as Tatanka. I got American War Eagle here, War Eagle, Red Blade. Built 6'2", 285. Trained by Pretty Boy Larry Sharp at the Monster Factory.
Monster Factory, baby.
There he is again. You know, did we really realize the impact this man had, by the way, watching Larry Sharp growing up? It's amazing.
You got it.
Not really, but...
Well, apparently behind the scenes he was doing some serious heavy lifting.
Yeah, he was.
And of course, being big marks of PWI growing up, he was ranked in the top 500, of course, of the PWI years. I believe he's a former USWA champion. He's held various belts from various different regions. Ladies and gentlemen, the man who had one of the biggest pushes I really can remember in my lifetime, this is Tatanka.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure, man.
All right.
Thank you very much. It's awesome to be here.
No,
Wait,
it's
what?
awesome to have you. Oh, boy.
I had
got
to
it.
once, man,
Oh,
you know.
boy.
Hit it, Mike. What do you got?
Mr. Virginia bodybuilder.
Yes.
Nice. How'd you get into bodybuilding?
Well, I came from a sporting background my whole career, actually. I mean, high school, I played football, Virginia. Okay. Remember the Titans? I played football in that area. We're AAA state football champs.
Okay.
Came out of there.
Position?
I played offense and defense, both
Sweet.
positions, starter. Then I came out of football, did track and field. I wanted to be on the wrestling team too, but our coach wouldn't let us be on the wrestling team. But after coming out of high school, college scholarship to James Madison University football. But after all of that, that's how I got into bodybuilding. And I was competing in the Virginia area. Your last guest, of course, Hall of Famer Tony Atlas.
Nice.
Tremendous bodybuilder.
Oh, yeah.
But it's tremendous how bodybuilding is so great in our field because with World Wrestling Federation, it's different today. Mm-hmm. The guys today are less than 200 pounds.
Yeah.
When I walked into the locker room in World Wrestling Federation in 1990, when I went into the gym, you see nothing but monsters. Every guy was 270 pounds and above. I'm looking, here's Hulk Hogan training. I'm looking over here, here's Legion of Doom on the incline press with 405 pounds. Cha-ching, making it sing. Cha-ching, cha-ching, with 405. Look over here, Jimmy Superfly Snooker, the whole rack. Over here, Hercules.
Yeah.
Over here, Barbarian. Over there, Warlord.
Sure.
And everybody was big, but everybody came from also a lot of bodybuilding and powerlifting, so it really helped the guys of our era, World Wrestling Federation, coming from a bodybuilding.
Right.
But I had a potential with bodybuilding. I had done so well that I had now qualified for the Nationals. I could have went to the Nationals, which would turn you into being a pro bodybuilder, but I looked at the time then and went, do I really want to do this? I was dieting 8 months out of the year, starving yourself.
A lot of work.
A lot of work, a lot of hard
Sure,
work.
discipline.
And at the end of the day, you get a trophy. And as far as at the pro level, I looked at that and went, there's only a few guys.
The money wasn't there.
The money, yeah.
Let me ask you,
Arnold, Franco Columbu, but
then-
really
and then
Arnold
what?
during
Right.
that era was really the only one.
Did you
right?
hear the horror stories about a pro bodybuilder? Like,
I heard a lot of horror
so
stories.
all the stuff you have to do to make money on the side.
I can't. I did all my competing. All the top shows that I won was in Florida. But unfortunately, in the Florida market, the guys who were the judges, I even know his name. I won't mention his name over the line. Well, yeah, I will.
ahead.
Peter Potter. Peter Potter is the one who's still running the bodybuilding down there. I understand all these guys, most of them are again, gay guys. They're in the industry. And the favors that you have to do behind the scenes. So that's not me.
Welcome to Ben Dover's pushing your stool.
Were you
Exactly.
were you ever approached to do anything like that? I've heard horror stories of guys that go to hotel rooms, they sit there and pose while a guy may masturbate in front of them, right?
Exactly. That's exactly what they do. And that's some of the things, and they even want to do even more than that.
Did you carry your tomahawk around 24/7?
You definitely need a tomahawk with guys like that around.
Chop you off pee-pee.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But that's I weighed all of that at the time, looking at everything that was involved. I go, I don't think this
Harder
is it.
to be a bodybuilder than a professional wrestler as far as scheduled taxing on your time?
No.
Okay.
Because here's the reason why. With World Wrestling Federation, when I started, we were actually booked officially, my first 7 years, 300 days a year. But even more than that, on weekends, on a Saturday, we would do a 1 o'clock show.
Double, huh?
And then we'd do an 8 o'clock show.
Wow.
They don't do that anymore.
No.
And all these kids today going, oh, it's so tough.
Right.
4 days on,
Get out.
3 days off.
Do you watch the product?
4 days, yes.
You
I'm
do?
I'm on contract
You
with them.
still
so I
watch the product.
Well,
Nice.
it's changed a lot.
Yeah.
Of course it's
sure.
changed a lot.
Sure.
But I still watch it. But the travel schedule, like Hogan said it was 90 days on one tour before he got home for one day. I've been on the road 60 days before getting home.
Wow.
And having that one day off.
Wow.
Him 90 days. So not only that, the reason I say it's tougher, not only are you wrestling, not only are you traveling, meaning flying in, got to go get your rent a car, got to go get your hotel, then you got to go from the hotel, now you got to go get a bite to eat, now you got to go to the gym, go work out, so you're still competing, meaning bodybuilding,
where does sleep
still
come in?
doing what you're doing,
Any
then you
sleep?
got to come back to the hotel, get ready, get to the building, do the event. People think we're planning everything out.
Right.
We ain't got no time to plan everything out.
Right.
And then after that, find something to eat, get back to your hotel. If you're on main event, you're getting in at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, get up 6, 7 o'clock to take a flight. We flew every single day. So pro wrestling has a way more demanding schedule
and
than
keeping
bodybuilding.
yourself in shape
And
too, right?
keeping yourself in shape.
Trying to find time at the gym,
So
do whatever.
bodybuilding and wrestling.
Average day, if you were lucky during those 300-day stretches, how many hours of sleep a day?
Oh my God! Most of the time, you're probably sleeping 3 to 4 hours.
Pills to stay awake?
No, I never. I stayed away from
Stayed
all
away
that.
from all the garbage?
I stayed away from all the garbage.
Any juicing? I know I'm probably stealing your thunder.
Well, back in the day, we weren't. When I came in, a lot of guys had juiced. But I was there when the drug testing started. You remember, shortly in the 90s, you know, all the problems he had.
Shit hit the fan.
Shit hit the fan. So again, they would walk right in, watch you pee right in the cup.
Did you hit the gas while you were bodybuilding, though, right?
Yes, of course, definitely.
I mean, you're in great shape now. I can't.
That's one of the things I think, and that's one of the things I looked at too. With it, I said, man, do I really want to do this? Because I started checking into the pro realm and seeing what they had to do to be in that kind of shape. And how much they take, and that they have their own. I mean, I understand some of the drug cycles of some of the professional bodybuilders are 100,000 plus a year alone.
Yeah, and then you make no money on top of it, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
So you have to have a sponsor, but just think about that. I wasn't willing to put all that stuff in my body. That's one of the things people talk about me. Even Vince McMahon, he seen me in 2005 when I signed my new contract with him. He looked at me and says, "Tatanka, you look the same." I go, "Vince, you look the same too." But I believe that's a big benefit with me because I've stayed away from all those bad things.
Right.
But you were around
Doesn't mean perfect, but eating good.
Sure.
Not out partying all the time.
But you stayed out of the
enjoying.
drug scene, though.
Yes, definitely.
But you were around a lot of guys that were drugging.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I can imagine.
What was that like?
Absolutely terrible.
Can you share with us the craziest thing you ever saw?
I've seen a lot of crazy things. I've said probably the most craziest thing, you know, we feel for him. I mean, he's better now. But I remember the guy who I drove with all the time was Undertaker. Okay. My first 5 years, that's who I traveled with all the time.
Okay.
We just hit it off, me and Mark. So we flew into, actually we were in Canada. Mark came to my room to actually say, okay, let's go. We're going to go work out. He says, let's go stop by Jake's room. Now, we had just got in, just flew in.
Jake the Snake.
Jake the Snake. By the time we got to Jake's Snake room, he was already lit up.
Oh, boy.
Already lit up. Smoking, crack, already
the
lit
crack,
up.
yeah.
Okay?
Cracking?
So
Oh,
it's
boy.
great to see him in
he's
a way
good
better
now.
place today,
He's good
all
now.
of us, you know. But it's just seeing all the stuff that guys went through.
But were you
during that
worried
time.
about like working? professional wrestling's dangerous.
what about
the
You're
dangerous-
working with a guy that's cracked out of his mind.
If a centimeter
you know.
off, you could be paralyzed.
Exactly.
I mean,
But, well, you know, I agree with that, but there's something different about our era. When guys got into the locker room, you would see guys that would go out and maybe stay out all night long. But there was something tough about all the guys then. When it came to Showtime,
They put up.
everybody gave 100% and left all their energy.
They were able to turn that
all
light
their
on
love,
and
all
do it.
everything
Right.
in the ring. And it was just, the guys were just a different breed. They're not like that today. The guys were just tough, man. Guys would go out every single night, but they'd get in the ring and just perform like unbelievably.
So I'm getting the feeling this generation of wrestlers you don't have a ton of respect for.
It's not that I don't have the respect for, but it's a total different game. You look at these guys, man. It's some.
you don't think I'm jacked?
Well, yeah. Well, when I came,
I'm pinning you
Right.
now. Now I'm pinning
Yeah.
you.
He's-
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, he's trying to
It's
set up a Royal
ridiculous.
Rumble right in here.
Yeah, it's
Right.
ridiculous what's going on.
When I came in 2005, one of the things that the agent said to me, which was at that time, it was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Arn Anderson. It says, we talk to these kids all the time. We talk to these kids all the time, but they don't want to listen. They don't want to listen. What's changed in this business is the respect and all the stuff that built this business and the things that guys did. We would set, if you were brand new, we didn't sit there and tell guys, well, this is what I want to do. When I first came in, the first guy I worked with, the first match I had was with the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase.
Sweet.
What a match to have.
Right into the deep end of the pool.
Right into the deep end of the pool.
But with a solid worker who's going to make
my
sure
God.
you're successful,
pro,
right?
too.
Exactly.
Nice.
But when I worked with him, I walked up to him because the way we were brought up and how we were taught, it's not like that now. I walked up and said, $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, it's an honor to meet you. It's going to be a pleasure to work with you. Tell me what you want me to do.
And if he asked you to
And I
carry,
shut up.
And if he asked you to carry his bags, what would you have
Carry
done?
him,
I would have done the
There
same
you go.
thing.
Have you heard about Leo Rush recently? He was refusing to carry the bags. He's a new guy in the company, and he's refusing. And he also said that a man of color shouldn't have to do this. Any thoughts?
Oh, my God.
I figured you'd love
Here
that
we go.
one.
Politics.
Yeah, I figured you'd love that one.
Well, that's politics.
Yeah. I don't have to carry this bag.
It's everything that's going on right now.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
By the way, he's 130 pounds sopping wet. Just figured I'd let you know.
And that's another thing, too.
Yeah.
All these guys in this industry.
Awesome.
I watch guys come into the locker room, and they've got legends and Hall of Famers and guys who've literally made millions of dollars in the industry, and they'll walk right by.
They don't even know who they are.
And you don't
Don't
even
even
know who
know.
they
Don't
are.
care.
And they'll walk right by and won't even say hello, or they'll be sitting in a chair and won't stand up to give a seat to Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Right.
Or guys who are just legends. The respect, what was built in this business.
Yeah.
I believe it has a lot to do with Rock and Stone Cold era. Wrestling got so big.
Interesting.
It got so big. There was a flood into our market.
Yeah.
You had everyone out there
The
that
numbers,
was
the
doing
ratings.
wrestling schools because they seen money,
Sure.
but they shouldn't have been training anybody.
Of course not.
They shouldn't have been telling it. And in certifying guys, you're a professional wrestler.
Right.
You know, here's the greatest story I've ever heard from Steve Kern.
Steve Kern.
Yeah, Steve Kern says you could talk to the average wrestling fan, any wrestling fan, and say, is wrestling fake? Oh, yeah. And then you can ask them the same question. Well, there are guys who get hurt, and there are guys who really don't like each other. Yeah. Well, the ones you're talking about are the workers. Mm-hmm. There's a way big difference between being a wrestler and being a worker. Mm-hmm. Knowing what to do in that ring, not only to be believable, but to get those people emotionally tied to that character, emotionally tied to that match. You don't see that anymore. Guys are just out there dancing, going through the steps, going through the motions.
Did it matter?
It's like a dance.
Did it matter to you if
not slowing down okay?
Right.
To tell a story,
Yeah.
to make people be emotionally involved.
I call it a flip-flop fest because they flip and they fly and they flop, and finishes happen in the first 30 seconds of a match. 47 kickouts. So what's going on here?
What is going on?
There's no story.
What are you doing? All these big power wrestling,
Right.
strongman wrestling,
Right.
kicking out of everything, big moves right at the beginning. Is that really?
No.
135 pounder, just like you said.
I can't.
If some of us don't like guys like this, the reason why, because you act like you're so tough.
Right.
But guys from my era, we'll beat your damn ass.
You're right.
We were Lily beat your ass.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was over in London on a tour years ago, and I'm in a ring. It was an English promoter, and they can be comical. A real big promoter has $1 million promotion over there. Brian Dixon promotion. People might have heard of him, but everyone knows who he is in the wrestling industry. But he had this small guy who was working with me.
What'd you do?
So, man, I nailed him down. Boom! He's coming back up on all fours. I actually kicked him in the gut so I beat his
You are my
ass.
hero.
Good for you.
But I beat his ass so bad that afterwards, he ran to his locker room with his friend, and he was getting a knife.
Oh, really?
He was going to cut me.
Nice.
So here there was like one or two.
Is this jackass still in the business, whoever this is?
I don't know who he is.
I can't anymore.
This years ago. I doubt he's probably in the industry.
Okay.
But I'll go, oh, really? Let's go right to the locker room. So there was one other guy, former WWE guy. I think it was, I can't remember who was there with me, but they went with me to the locker room. I opened up the door where him and his friend was at. I says, what's up, man? What are you doing? His friend had already convinced him. Don't mess with Tatanka.
Yeah, right. Yeah, sure.
Idea.
Don't mess with him.
Yeah.
You know, by the time I got there, he'd already calmed him down.
Okay.
And he says, I'm sorry. But that's what you have in this industry. You got a lot of guys who came in being taught by guys who should have never trained guys because that flood.
Right.
Rock and Stone Cold, the business was crazy then.
It was.
You remember
That was
every
insane.
gas station at that time? Every gas station had wrestling T-shirts for sale.
right.
Sure.
Everyone was wearing a wrestling T-shirt.
When you
during that
have
time.
kids getting like suspended from school for a day because they wore a shirt that says "suck it,"
Exactly.
you got something in society going on here. Those ratings were insane.
but we also
It's insane.
we also say
Yeah.
for the time it saved the WWE, but in the long run it hurt the industry.
It definitely hurt the
Yeah,
industry.
in many
it
ways.
brought that whole flood in and a different mindset of how to work, a different mindset of who were training people. Also, everyone just got in, not thinking about, well, who can I be? What kind? When I got in, it wasn't a choice. You had to be a character.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like I can come in with just my boots, tights, and knee pads. You had to be a character. Everybody was characters. You look, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Legion of Doom,
Macho.
Rick the Model Martel, Macho Man,
Sure.
Demolition. Everybody looked totally unique, totally different. No one looked the same. It's cookie cutter now.
Oh, I can't.
Well, they don't care if they
Yeah,
win or
you're
lose
right.
either. I mean,
Yes.
I understand
50-50 booking.
We call 50-50
I'll
booking
pin
all the
you
time.
this week. You get to pin me next week. Who gets over here? Neither one.
Of course.
This is
that.
horrendous.
Was it a problem for you doing a job?
No, but I was very fortunate when I came in that Vince, as you know,
Had some push.
I went 2 years undefeated.
huge, yeah. You
had
were
So I
some
didn't lose
push.
nothing for 2 years, and then and with that kind of push, when you finally do something, which I had my first defeat with Luvid Borga,
Oy.
but it wasn't just with Luvid Borga. He nailed me with a chair shot. Believe me, he nailed me. But it wasn't that. They also brought out the WWF champion, Yokozuna, with Mr. Fuji. So it took all those elements to defeat me, so
Right.
they kept me strong. And even though that he beat me and pinned me by a chair shot, when they announced me again with Luve, the pop was even higher.
Yeah, sure.
Because they were upset with what happened. So it can work in your favor. So they had got me so strong at that point that it didn't hurt me at all. Of finally having that first defeat.
sure.
It only made me better.
Well, let's take it back to the very beginning. You've covered respect. You've covered how people should behave when they meet a legend. How about your chance meeting that changed your whole life when you met Nature Boy Buddy Rogers?
Oh, tremendous.
How does this happen?
Well, I'm in Florida, and great story. I'm actually going to Blockbuster Video.
Okay.
Blockbuster's not around anymore because times have
VHS,
changed.
VHS tape.
But I kept going to Blockbuster Video, and I kept running into this young kid. Every time I ran into this young kid, he kept telling me, "You should be a pro wrestler. You should be a pro wrestler." Yeah, kid.
Sure,
yeah,
kid.
yeah, kid.
Go away, bother me.
I just came out of tryouts for the Dolphins. I'd made the cuts. I could have signed with the Dolphins, but I stayed where I was working. I had a career job with Bally's, Bally's Health and Tennis Organization. I was selling $1 million worth of business a year myself.
So real quick, I just want to cut you off. He was talking about bodybuilding against wrestling, pro football and wrestling, which is tougher.
Which one's tougher?
Training-wise.
I still would have to say pro football today is a very hard impacting hitting. Yeah. But professional wrestling, you go out there with no pads, no nothing.
300 times a year.
You got it.
Yeah.
That's the key.
That's the key.
300 times a year.
All right.
No off season.
All right.
NFL only has that, really hard hitting. If you play football at all, Monday you usually don't hit hard. You're going over what happened on the game.
Right.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you're hitting.
Yeah.
Friday, you're not hitting.
Right.
You're
Relaxing.
walking through, and then you have your game on Sunday.
Yeah.
Every single night, 100%. Every single night, sometimes twice a day, 300 days a year.
Perhaps those lunatics during the 70s, when football was much rougher than it is today, maybe they worked pretty damn hard. I mean,
yes.
You know what I'm saying?
So,
the Jack Tatum era, guys like that.
I want to go back to the Buddy Rogers story. I didn't mean to interrupt you on that.
Yeah. Buddy Rogers, just tremendous. I kept running into the kid. So I said, okay. I said, let me check out what this kid's talking about. So I turned on. I wasn't a big wrestling fan at that time. I came from football. And I turned on Saturday morning TV, and I started hearing about what guys were, previous athletes, and I started watching these guys come to the ring, and I started realizing, wait a minute, as I seen their schedule every single night, I seen sold-out coliseums on TV. Then I seen the Hacksaw Jim Duggan 2x4s. I seen the Macho Man hands, all the merchandise, T-shirts. I went, wait a minute.
Boy, that crowd sure sounds loud.
Cha-ching.
That's
That's exactly what it is.
Absolutely.
Because I was searching, even though I was working in a corporate field where I was making 6 digits, I still wanted to go further than that. I was working in Bally's, and I wanted to go higher than that. I mean, they were getting ready to make me an area director, making $250,000 a year, but I was still involved heavily with that sporting background in me that was still calling. So I finally
By the way, it's a
started...
gutsy move to walk away from $250,000 to take a chance. You don't even know if you're going to make it.
Well, it's a good story, and I'll tell you that too with this thing with Buddy here, because being in New York is pretty cool with the story. But the bottom line is, finally, I finally said, okay, introduce me to who you're saying is so special. He says, okay. So I get to go down to the intercoastal waterways of Florida, big, beautiful home. That's a nice area to live in Florida because you live on the water, which is prime real estate. That's where my first meeting was at Nature Boy's personal house. I walk in, I get to meet him and his wife, his family. You could see by the way they were dressed, classy. You could see by the way they lived their life.
Do you realize
done very well.
You stepped in shit.
I stepped right in. I'm looking
big
through,
giant pile.
Yeah, I'm looking through his sliding glass door. There's the intercoastal waterway, boats going by. He had all of his.
How did this kid at Blockbuster know Buddy Rogers? This is weird.
And had all of his belts and show glass boxes. Yeah, you could see it was me and Buddy just hit it off. Nature Boy and I just hit it up, but I still didn't make a decision right then. I'm not stupid. I wasn't going to give up a 6-digit going to $250,000 job just like that. It took about a few months. I'm in my office, all of a sudden, guess who walks up the stairs? Took his time to come to my business, walk up the stairs, no other than the Hall of Famer, Nature Boy Buddy Rogers himself. Comes in, he sits down, he sits in my office, and he says things to me, being a winner and believing in myself. He said things to me at that time that I couldn't let it go. He got me.
Challenged you.
And I went, this is it. And I started telling people, that's what I'm thinking about doing. You're crazy. You've lost your mind. Everybody in my organization, you lost your mind, and you're in a great position. You're the only divisional manager, which that's what that ring is, for $1 Million Club right there, Scandinavian ring.
Wow, look at that.
So finally I made the decision, and the funny part is the company was owned by nothing but Italians at that time, Palombos. So here I am sitting in my office, all of a sudden all the executives come. So there's 3 Italian guys in their suits come sit down in my office. I felt like I was sitting down with the Godfather, trying to make me an offer that I couldn't refuse. They offered me $30,000 right then. I was already making $100,000. We'll give you $130,000 a year. We're already making you to be prepared to be area director, which is going to be $250,000 a year. I just said, listen, guys, You didn't make it to where you are at in your life without taking chances, believing in yourself. Risk. I says, I got to do this. I says, hey, Chris, we can't bring you back. We got to fill this position. There's only one. I says, I fully understand that. So, but anything great, I will say to all the listeners out here, any sacrifice, you got it. Risk.
Sure.
Vince McMahon.
Oh, yeah.
Worked for the biggest company in the world. I'm on contract with him today. What did he do for WrestleMania?
Mortgaged
He
his
took
house.
everything he had. everything he
on the
had.
line.
House, all the money.
Sure.
And he put it into the concept of WrestleMania. And look what it is today.
There you go.
Now WrestleMania is doing over $100 million at pay-per-view alone. Not only are we bidded on, and not only is it one of the top 5 sporting events of all sporting events now, with Winter, Summer Olympics, Super Bowl, Final Four. Here's WWE WrestleMania. And the cities that hosted, everyone is doing, for that week, economic impact is over $100 million.
Think how
a
that
week.
turned. They used to have to pay for the venue. Now the venue pays for them.
Exactly.
Yep.
Amazing.
So look what happened by taking a risk. Same thing with me. I took that risk. I got stepped out on the water, and I was really in a great opportunity there because Nature Boy Buddy Rogers was very close to Pretty Bear Larry Sharp.
There you go.
So he set me up instantly to go to there. He says, go in, get your training, get out. You're an athlete. You can get this done in 3 months. I went in, I was done in 3 months, but I spent extra time on weekends in the Monster Factory. When all the other boys would go party on the weekend, Friday, Saturday, I was in there with a guy by the name of Dennis Knight.
Okay.
I was in there with him doing extra work on the weekend. So by 3 months, I was out.
There
Then
you go.
Nature Boy Buddy Rogers set me up with George Scott, the original booker of World Wrestling Federation during the Hogan years. He had his own promotion in Carolinas, North American Wrestling Association, which became South Atlantic Pro Wrestling, and that's where I began. And then 1 year later, less than a year later, after Pro Wrestling Illustrated, which you mentioned earlier, had me runner-up for Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
In less than a year, I'd already had 2 tryouts for WWF, and on my 3rd tryout, I got signed. So I was signed in only 1 year of making the decision.
Fast track.
So, fast track. So what's
you go.
funny, the funny story, all those people, the naysayers on the sidelines, you're not going to do that. You're not going to make it. You're a fool for leaving your job. $100,000 a year. They give you $30,000, $130,000. You make. They were all laughing at me at my corporate job. I understand it was a huge club. Had a 70,000 square foot club for balance. Had a restaurant lounge. All of them were in the restaurant lounge one day, and all of a sudden someone goes, "Oh my God, look, it's Chris Chavis. He's a WWF." They went, "Oh my God, he did it."
Yeah.
They didn't even have enough time to criticize you. What happened so
Of course.
fast?
So I would tell everybody out there, believe in yourself.
Sure.
Don't listen to the naysayers.
It's a great
If you
message.
if you got a dream inside of yourself, believe in yourself.
So-
go after it, chase it, take the risk.
Yeah.
So can I ask you, in the pre-WWF days, which obviously, as we just found out, were not for long, can you tell us about working with Ken Shamrock?
Oh my God!
I didn't even realize, by the way, Mikey, that Shamrock had, this is years before we saw him in the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
Ken Shamrock, as you know, was a fighter at that time, doing MMA. I came out of nothing but playing football. All we knew how to do was hit hard.
Yeah.
We would wrestle each other and beat each other. We were tough, though, but
Right.
we beat each other up. Actually, Vince Torelli was what he went by, Ken Shamrock. Vince Torelli worked for North American Wrestling Association, and actually I faced him at our biggest event where we did $10,000 as an independent on my native lands, Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina, the Lumbee Nation of North Carolina. Okay. And we did our event there, and that's where I defeated him for the title, for the SAPW title. Okay. But we just beat each other up. He had hooked me in Northern Light me, boom, right on my head. He knew nothing but how to fight, and I knew nothing but how to hit someone hard because I came from a football background.
What did you think of his run when he, during the Attitude Era? Any thoughts on Shamrock's career?
I think he did fantastic, man. I mean, Vince loved that concept of having. Look at Brock Lesnar. Shoot fighters.
But he's real.
It's real.
He's real.
Coming into our industry.
Growing up, I wanted my wrestler to be able to beat the shit out of me.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
what I mean?
Yeah,
I didn't want a
of
guy
course.
that I could beat the shit out of. What's the point?
And look at that today. That's exactly what you have today.
Yep, I
You
say
got
it every day.
fans sitting in the audience that goes, "I can whip his ass."
Yeah.
But he's looking like a Superman. And I'm going to tell you too, what I understand too, Vince McMahon, also doesn't like the NXT talent. He doesn't like those
I hear
small
that.
wrestlers.
I hear that. Yep.
Triple H loves it.
Yeah.
Vince is not crazy about it, is what I understand. And the reason he's not crazy about it, because he likes the believability, what we're talking about. He likes the guy, remember back in World Wrestling Federation, again, what we talked about earlier, everybody was monsters.
Yes.
Yeah, they were.
When we walked in somewhere, the fans didn't do what they did. It was like the parting of the Red Sea. The fans would back up. Here comes Taker. All the guys, just monsters, guys that you would not mess with. Now look at the guys.
Hey, Don
you
Morocco,
can't even tell they're wrestlers.
Don Morocco's a monster compared to Sami Zayn.
Of course.
This is a joke.
It's amazing how the industry has changed.
It has.
And brought that new breed of wrestlers in.
Right.
How about the women's
Any
evolution?
thoughts on that?
I think it's tremendous what they've done for the women. I mean,
I feel it's been rammed down our throats, if I can be honest.
of course, exactly.
I think it's way overrated, but that's me.
Yeah, but they're better looking than Fabulous Moolah, man.
Well, that's
of course.
true. What, Mae Young wasn't hot? What's wrong with you?
But what they're trying to do, you have to understand the WWE of today. They're trying to touch all those things that mean something, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
You know, women, taking care of women, you know. But it's great. I mean, you got some great talent out there. Charlotte Flair.
They do.
Come
They
on,
do.
I mean, she's got that history.
I think
Flair.
I got to
Come
be
on.
honest. I think she's a better presentation than any man on the man roster right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, unbelievable.
That's just my opinion. You
So
know?
she's
To me, it's smart marketing, right? You're
She's the
touching
goods.
everything.
Exactly.
It
And
makes
that's what
sense.
That's the reason Vince has got such... I just read an article that was shocking to me. I just read an article online. It talked about that it's amazing that WWE continues to grow in their revenue, but their TV ratings are actually dropping, but they're growing in their revenue.
It's so weird.
It's because
Mike, can you explain that,
They
Mike?
also reach across many markets.
But I'm
which
going
helps
to
them.
explain this, though.
How
it's
do
not
you
a TV.
profit
Look,
as the ratings
I have a
drop?
29-year-old, right? They don't watch cable TV anymore. They stream everything, just like this broadcast,
Okay.
right? This is
Okay.
streaming. It's not must-watch TV, but people catch it, you know, on the way to work, at home, watch it anytime you want.
Right.
Netflix, all that stuff. You got the
Sure.
network. You
course.
know, you got people paying their $9.99.
I can watch you
watching
whenever
their
I want
pay-per-views.
now.
Go watch
Exactly.
Any match,
Exactly, yeah.
anytime.
And that's tremendous. You remember everybody
is.
laughing at Vince when he started it?
The greatest move
Now
ever.
they're
I thought it was great.
advertising. I think they're at now
it was great.
1.9 subscribers.
Yeah, I thought it was a
1.9
great
million
idea.
subscribers right now.
Yep.
Now everybody is jumping on the bandwagon
found
and
the net-
following what Vince has done.
I found the network idea to be as consistent with everything else Vince has ever done. He gets this great idea. He goes for it. I thought it was going to work, and it has.
Tremendous.
It was
Look at
brilliant.
the content that you get for $10
It's
a month.
ridiculous. It's a steal.
You get
I
every
think it's a
pay-per-view
steal.
for free, but you get to see everything in the history
I think
of the
it's a steal.
company.
And
excellent.
you got to
It's
think about it
tremendous.
this way: the average customer doesn't want to sit and watch 3 hours of wrestling.
I can't anymore.
Not nowadays.
Not the way it's written.
You know,
No.
we talk about it all the time.
Damn.
Back in the day with Backlund and Morocco, they'd hold each other in an arm bar when I used to go to the Garden
I
for
was
10
engaged.
minutes, and we were engaged.
Yeah.
Today's fan isn't dealing with
No,
that.
they're going to chant CM Punk during that armbar.
Of course. But the thing is you just talked about it, creative writing.
Yeah, the writing is right.
Not only is it, when we started our business, it was Vince McMahon, Pat Patterson, a successful wrestler,
Yes,
sure.
and Chief Jay Strongbow, a successful wrestler.
A successful
that was it.
Italian Indian.
You got it.
I can't anymore.
Joe
Go on.
Scarpa, you got
There
it.
you
go. Yep.
He loved the Native American, our culture, but he wasn't Native American.
How did you feel about that, by the way? Like, just your personal thought.
No, it didn't bother me because I'm not one of those Native Americans that believe that the Redskins need to take off. I know what they're saying.
Interesting.
I know what they're saying. I know what
Okay.
because back in that day we were called Redskins.
Is it wrong for me
It was
to
a
love-
racial term, but what I say is, hey, you could change a mascot. But is it really going to change what's happening on native lands?
Right.
In our culture or our race of people, we're leading every high-risk category that you don't want to lead.
Right.
Poverty, high school dropout, teen pregnancy, suicide, drugs, alcohol. You don't want to be in those. The native culture is in that. Are you going to change the team mascot? Is it going to change that? Hell no. I believe that we need to face the true issues. Same thing that we have with our politics today. Playing. The Democrats playing over here about Russian collusion instead of facing the issues that we need to face for the American people.
Right.
Let's address immigration. Let's get it solved. How long can you kick it down the road? When are we going to address it and finally solve it?
Right.
Why are the American people paying for so many? It astonishes me that we have vets out there that don't have all the assistance they can get.
Right.
Okay? Food assistance,
Right.
money assistance. You got illegal immigrants to come in, and they're getting everything.
Right.
They get everything.
And
Why?
the veteran stands there with his,
And the veteran stands there with
what's
nothing.
going on? I can't figure that out.
So
Thoughts on President Trump? Sorry.
I think Donald Trump actually did a phenomenal job. Not only did I vote for him, but I think he's going to have a tremendous victory in 2020. And because the people that have been supporting him, his base is now speaking up. Okay, if you notice now, people are coming out and going, I voted for Trump. Before they were quiet because everyone was giving everybody so much hectic. But come on, how can you fight with what is going on with our economy? How can you fight when unemployment is low as it is? And how can you fight when African American unemployment is the lowest? Hispanic is the lowest. Companies are excited. Regulations, their hands being tied. Now they're free to expand, to invest, to hire workers. How is that bad for anybody? That's good for everybody. Trump, the tax cuts were only for the rich. Bullcrap. It's affected all the working people the most.
Killed me.
The middle class.
Killed me.
Yeah, some people, it affected them, meaning they had to pay more.
Mm-hmm.
But the middle class, who they're trying to say, the Democrats, where we need to focus, that's exactly who it's benefit. How can you... He's putting money in your pocket. It's all about America, not about foreign countries. It's about standing strong, not about being weak. Everything he's doing, I'm agreeing. Does Trump sometimes say things and sometimes people go, oh, you shouldn't have said that? But let me tell you something. I've worked for Vince McMahon, still on contract. Billionaires are totally different. Hello? They've done it their way, and they're successful doing it their way. And they know what they're doing. They're a different breed. Sure. When you're with Vince McMahon... All the years I've been with him, when you look at him, you know he's someone different.
That's right.
Not because he's Vince McMahon, just his mindset. How he's, you look at him and you see him. Clocks.
Do you think today's WWE is a microcosm of today's USA?
Yeah, that's a real good thing.
I'm gonna go with yes.
Yes. Me and Tony Atlas he was kind of speaking about that. He says, "Look what WWE's doing. They're kind of matching everything that's going out with what's happening in politics right now. How they're putting certain people in positions. You know, when we were talking about that, Tony made me realize too about how the minorities were the ones who were so important before." In World Wrestling Federation, but how they're changing things today in the company. But I have to say, yes, I agree with you.
How do we get to the name Tatanka?
Tatanka, Vince sat down with me, and he says, Chris, he says, I respect that you're real native blood from the Lumbee Nation. He says, I don't want to disrespect your heritage at all. He says, why don't you find the name? He gave it to me. So I started researching names, and as I researched names, the thing about Native American names, perfect example, good example right here. Dances with Wolves.
I was about to say, did you get it from Dances with Wolves?
No, I didn't get it from Dances with Wolves, but I'm
film.
using it because Native Americans name things, not because how we name things. Oh, I think Jeff is a cool name. Or I think this is a cool name. No, natives always name how your characteristics are. It's something personal. It's about your identity. It's about who you are. It's about what they see. That's the reason why the lady said, why do they call you stands with a fist? Because someone upset me. I stood up, boom! Kevin Costner, the native scene in Dancing with the Wolf, Dances with Wolves. So the thing about native names, when I did research, they're normally 3 or 4 words, or 2 or 3 words. Hard to use that for wrestling.
They named me Has Small Peepee.
Yeah.
They name me bitches constantly. I
didn't like that.
That's a good one. What'd they give you?
What'd they give you, Jim?
Chief Yo Bro?
Chief Yo Bro.
They call me Ouch.
Ouch! No, it's 3 words, pal.
3 words,
Go
Chief
ahead,
Yo
Chris.
Bro.
I'm sorry.
That's good.
Oh
Y'all,
my God.
you guys picked up on that one really good. So, again, most words are like that, but I kept researching. All of a sudden, I seen this name, Tatanka.
Nice.
I went, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I went, let me research. Sioux name, what does it mean? Buffalo. I went, ooh, and I sat there and I started thinking, Tatanka. Oh, perfect for the fans.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
So I went back to Vince, and Vince says, you find something? I go, yeah. He said, what'd you find? I went to Tatanka. He says, what does it mean? Buffalo. He says, I love it. We're going with
He
it.
must have,
Because
yeah.
you're going to run over your opponents.
That's awesome.
You
Buffalo,
sure did.
Boom! Buffalo just runs over their opponent. You're not going to
So
stop
let me
them.
ask you a question. You got an incredible push for such a long time.
Yes.
How much shit did you get from a lot of the older wrestlers?
Ooh,
That
behind
they
the
give
scenes?
you a lot of problems in the ring, out of the ring.
Well, that has a lot to do with who you are. When you started saying that, the first person I started thinking about was Undertaker, not in a negative way, positive way. Because I'm sitting there, I just came in, just started, and I'm doing that poster where I have my hands up, and Taker's over there as they're doing professional shots, and all the boys over here. He goes, look at this young kid coming in already getting T-shirts, and he was just joking with me because we're already driving together. What determines how the boys treat you is, are you real? Are you cool? Are you humble? Are you stuck up on yourself? You know, do you think that you know it all? Meaning, you wrestle first on the card, okay? Me, Rick the Model Martel, first match. Do you go to the locker room and do you get undressed, take a shower, and leave and go out and party? Or do you go get a chair and set it by the ring curtain and watch all the other great guys who are on that card? Bret the Hitman Hart, Macho Man Randy Savage, all the big names. Are you watching all the matches? I'd set my chair there and watch all the matches.
You made it hard for them to dislike you.
Yeah, and matter of
You
fact,
were doing the right thing.
Doing the right thing. Matter of
There you
fact,
go.
Chief Jay Strongbow, when you got new guys coming in, they won't tell you this, but they'll just come by and just see what you're doing. Mm-hmm. They'll see what you're doing, checking up on you. That's what they do. They check.
That's great.
And if you're having a bad attitude, it's kind of like a college fraternity. In our business, you got to get through the frat house before you get to the main house. You don't get to the office if you can't mix with the boys, because we're family. We're on the road 300 days a year. You got to be able to work with the guys. You can't be a pain in the ass. You can't be a problem. Because if you're a problem, you're affecting that whole locker room.
Sure.
You're infecting that whole locker room with negatives. If you're bitching, complaining, causing problems. No, they didn't have time for that. So I was just always a cool guy, personal. Didn't act like I was anyone special. Just a normal guy. But blessed enough to be able to work at World Wrestling Federation and have that opportunity and have that push.
Thoughts?
So I never have problems with guys.
Okay.
The biggest rib that I had happen to me, and Chief Jay Strongbow stood up for me, the biggest rib I ever have happened to me was with the Steiner brothers. Okay, I went to go work, and afterwards I took a shower, and of course I'm like Jimmy Hart. We have our hair, we still have all our hair, blow drying our hair, being all pretty. But that's a big part that Jimmy's known about, big part that's known about me, our hairstyles. Well, I went to go get my blow dryer out of my bag, and I pulled it out, and I reached to the end of the cord to go plug in, and my plug had been cut off.
Oh.
So Steiners had cut the plug off. That's the worst thing that happened to me.
You got lucky.
If you, but that means they like you,
Right.
Okay,
Right.
Chief Jay Strongbow stood up for me and says, "Don't you do that ever again to Tatanka." He got on the Steiner brothers. But if they don't like you,
What's one of the worst ribs you ever saw? Were you ever uncomfortable with it?
Oh, I was uncomfortable, and I won't say I was not that I was uncomfortable, but sitting there in the locker room and watching Mr. Fuji open up a side of a big garment bag,
Right.
which was Virgil's bag.
Okay.
And Virgil would get a lot of heat at times because of the things that he would do.
Right.
And watch Mr. Fuji just take a big horse dump
Nice.
in that garment bag and then zip it back up.
Nice.
Oh, if you're not like, believe me, you're going to come back. Your shirt sleeves will be cut off.
Yeah.
Your underwear will have Tiger Balm in it, and you won't know it until it's too late. You put them on.
Right.
Or your bag will be locked at the top of the ceiling with no bolt cutters around.
Oh, my God.
If you're not liked, they'll make it so bad for you that you want to leave.
Check out Fuji leaving
But
the
you're-
special soy sauce.
Oh yeah, Mr. Fuji was the one that if there was a problem with someone,
Wow.
if Mr. Fuji's coming to look for you, God rest his soul, Mr. Fuji coming looking for you, you're in trouble.
Did you dislike anyone?
I didn't really dislike anyone. There's probably the first guy that came in our industry that I had a problem with, and a lot of guys had a problem with, and that's the reason he had a short-lived career, was Ahmed Johnson.
Interesting.
Do you remember him?
Sure
Absolutely.
do.
Yeah,
He
and
got a big push.
Yeah, well, they wanted to push him.
Yeah.
But me and Jeff Jarrett was working with him all the time, but he would literally stand in front of the mirror in the locker room with the other boys. I'm the greatest. I'm awesome. He's talking to himself in the mirror.
I got to
Nice.
tell you,
And then he would hurt guys. He did not know how to work. He did not know how to, I won't say dance, because we didn't dance it, but he did not know how to flow.
Right.
To get that special flow.
I'll tell you,
of
he
the
might have had a
ring.
killer build, but he did nothing for me.
No.
He had no aura whatsoever to me as a wrestling
Me
fan.
too.
I was like,
Me
"Ugh,
too.
Big deal.
I can't believe they were even looking to push him like
They
that.
pushed
at
the
that
shit
time.
out of him.
But don't forget at that time when he came in, there was a lot of stuff going on at that time. When Ahmed Johnson came in is when everyone had left not
Yeah.
everyone.
Well, it was
but they
getting
went
there,
to
yeah.
Turner Broadcasting.
Tides be a-changing,
That's
shifting.
when Hogan was there, Macho Man, and there was a big shift there, and we were looking for new guys. I think they were looking for new guys to try to get some attention to our company because we were battling at that time.
Now, were you ever contacted by Turner at all?
Yes.
What went down with that?
I'm going to say this right now, and we're going to get this clear again. Okay, I've already called him out on it again, and I'll call him out on it right here on the radio because I never heard anything great about him. Eric Bischoff. Okay, yes, we'll give credit for credit's due with the success that they had, but I came from WWF it was probably 96, 97. I wanted to take a break, and even Chief Jay Strongbow told me should take a break. The company's focused on fighting with WCW instead of focusing on what's going on here. So, but I was still in contract with WWF. I was contacted by WCW, Eric Bischoff. Okay? Contacted me, wanted me to come down to Nitro, wanted me to be sitting by ringside, kind of bringing me an introduction so they could eventually bring me into the company. Okay? I've made that statement before, and Eric's went after that saying, oh, I never did that. I've already called him out on you liar.
Right.
And I'm saying it again. He's a liar.
Right.
You know, what is wrong with you? You called me.
Yeah, right.
Why would I want to make a story up like that for?
Sure.
Well, what benefit is it to me? So me, I look at him totally different. Ever because of that, I look at him totally different. I don't like you, Eric. I'm sorry.
Right.
Just that simple.
How about someone you do like, I would assume? Rick Martel, Hall of Famer in your opinion?
Yes, definitely. When I came into the business, I was still green. I'd only been working 1 year.
Fast track.
I'm fine-tuned already.
Fast track.
Chief Jay Strongbow said something to me famous, a famous statement that's just became so true. He said, Tatanka, 5 years into this business, you just start learning. And he's so true. Because as soon as 5 years got there, you're really starting to get the flow of it. Not meaning having to do what guys do today, meaning feeling it, knowing what to do in an instant, on the spot, not because you're planning it, not because you got to talk it out for 4 hours, knowing like some of the greats, Roddy Piper, know exactly what to do in that ring at that moment to get those fans, to pull them into the ring and have them in the palm of his hands. Okay? So 5 years, I just started feeling that and understanding that.
Would you say your growth process was accelerated working with a guy like Martel?
Martel is tremendous. That's the reason I was going to say. They
There you
put
go.
me with him first. Why?
Right.
He was a seasoned veteran. Why? He fine-tuned me.
Yes.
I learned so much, not by us sitting there talking, by being in the ring with him every night. Timing, positioning, expressions, fire, everything that you need to know to be a big baby face and a superstar in our industry. Rick Martel brought that out, and Rick Martel will tell you, ever since that's happened, I've always given him credit for my success in the business to him all the time. I mention his name all the time. All the time.
Memories of WrestleMania 8 and the Survivor Series program with Martel. Your memories of these
Oh,
matches.
it was tremendous. You're working with Rick the Model Martel.
Just watch these matches. They hold up great.
Before I came in, when you're watching it on Saturday morning, who'd you see all the time? Rick the Model Martel, meaning one of their top stars. You got a locker room back there, and you only got so many guys that's going to be on TV.
Yeah.
Like today, you got a lot of guys, but now you got all the brands. SmackDown, Raw, NXT. You got all of this. Before, it was just one wrestling company.
Yeah.
Saturday morning TV. That was it. So whoever was on TV was top talent. Top talent, Rick the Model Martel. So I was so thankful to be able to work with him. Hall of Famer, you better believe it. He needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
Did you think when the Monday Night Wars were going on, did you think the WWE had a chance of actually closing its doors? Did you think they could lose?
This was a close call.
Oh, it was a very close call. Did I actually believe that? No. But when I heard that later on, I was like, wow. But when you start thinking business-wise and you understand business and understand like today, like WWE, I know years ago when I checked at it, just operating costs for the company, just to have a flow to operate the company, $50 million years ago.
Right.
I'm sure now WWE from 2014 to 2019 has doubled their revenue. They now just did $930.2 million last year.
Jeez.
This year they're going
Can't
to do
even.
over $1 billion. These are facts. $1 billion this year because of their new TV deals. But you would never think, how could a company go out of business? Well, it's the cash flow problem. Keeping something in operation. Having that $67 million setting there just to operate the company. So when that's not coming in, because all those bonuses that you get from being in the number one spot on TV, you're not getting those extra millions of dollars. It can make a big, you just see this big company, but you don't understand how big business operates. And one little facet can really mess up the whole thing.
We have a host, Evan Ginsberg. He's associate producer for The Wrestler and the Mickey Rourke movie, if you remember, right? In 350 Days.
Yeah.
He's a big proponent for, older wrestlers getting full medical from the WWE or whatever else. What are your thoughts on all that?
Well, did you hear, what's the show that you just heard? It was a late night...
John Oliver, right?
Yeah. A lot of people, as far as in our industry, I'm sure WWE didn't like hearing all of that.
Yeah, he launched that missile right as WrestleMania was approaching.
It was.
I keep saying I think it was more of a Trump thing. I thought he had an opportunity because Linda was with Trump, right? Linda McMahon.
Right.
I don't even think it was a WWE thing. I think it was more another shot at Donald Trump, right? Because of the association.
Yeah, it could have been. But again, a lot of things they're talking about there. Let me give you a perfect example. I was just on a tour just recently in Georgia, okay? And the guy who I actually ended up going with was Brian Blair. We're going to do TV for a company in Georgia. But the person we had to go pick up was Paul Orndorff. Okay, here's a WWE Hall of Famer. Now, he's not doing good, dementia.
Yeah.
But I looked at his life, too. I think a WWE Hall of Famer, a lot of guys make mistakes, of course. If you make your own mistake, then you kind of got to lay in that bed yourself. But I see a WWE Hall of Famer that financially, his house was in distress, his yard, big tall grass, leaves all over the roof, mildew on the outside of the house, meaning not being taken care of. A WWE Hall of Famer, in my eyes, just like Hall of Famers in pro football, things like that, they shouldn't be dealing with things of that nature. If you're a Hall of Famer, you should really have that lifestyle. It doesn't mean you have to have millions of dollars,
right?
Or this extravagant lifestyle,
at least
but the simple things in your life should be taken care of. So I would love to see that the guys who work so hard to give so much to the company and make WWE be what it is today, that top talent who gave so much of themselves, that they don't have to worry about the little small things.
Do you think that Vince will ever do this for them, though?
Well, to Vince has done a lot behind the scenes. Some people don't know.
Right.
I'm sure.
Helping, paying. He don't have to, but he goes,
I
give him the money, pay for that medical, do this, do that. He don't have to, because look at all the wrestlers. We were just talking about that next door. Look at all the guys. Where does it end if you start doing that?
Right.
Where does it end?
Or how about the ones that backstab you after you stop doing it because you've done enough, and
Of
they
course.
can
And then they cremate you on Facebook
social
for the rest of
media,
your
right?
life.
Of course, exactly. And Vince knows that too.
Yeah.
And as we talk, how many guys are in lawsuits.
Yeah,
Here I'm sitting on
sure.
a Legends contract.
Right.
But there's guys that are out there that have tremendous names in our industry.
Yes.
They're not on a Legends contract. Why? Because you're sitting there kicking WWE in the face.
Yeah.
You got to make a decision. WWE is the number one company, sports entertainment company in the world, okay? There's no one compared to them. You got AEW coming out now, but I've always looked at everyone and laugh how, even Hogan, when he came out with Impact Wrestling, you remember?
Yeah, sure.
TNA.
Yeah.
Remember what they did?
Yeah.
Okay, brother, we're going head to head, brother. It's going to be WWE, brother. Impact Wrestling team. We're going to take the ratings. They went down in the ratings.
Yeah.
You're going to compete with WWE Monday Night Raw. Come on,
good
Vince
luck.
has been doing this for
Forever.
a very long. He
Yeah.
did not become this monstrous
By
company
accident, yeah,
overnight or by accident.
Can Triple H carry it on, though, after Vince goes
Yeah,
on?
what's your thoughts
Well,
on
Triple H is definitely being trained all the way by Vince.
Right.
We're just talking about this next door, thinking that Vince is not in charge. He's still in charge.
He's still in
He
charge.
is.
He's still
I
in charge.
believe
Well, I
he's
stand
completely-
corrected then.
No,
I
completely
stand
still
corrected.
in charge.
Completely.
Oh, completely.
I agree.
He's not
Yep.
giving the reins to
Yep.
Stephanie's in creative control, but he
Triple H thinks differently than Vince, though.
yes, he does. He thinks different. For example, he loves NXT.
He does.
Triple H. Vince doesn't like NXT
Right.
because he doesn't like the small
Vince
guys.
is way more
it's
impulsive,
not believable
in my mind.
to him. He doesn't like the small wrestlers.
Would you agree, though, that he's more impulsive than Triple
Yes,
H?
he is.
Seems to change his mind constantly, Vince.
Of
Especially
course.
now.
Of course.
Nowadays.
Yeah,
Right.
of course, definitely. But yes, he's still in control.
Are you concerned with his aging? He seems like he's aging, like fast.
Well, he's aging fast, but you just seen him. Well,
Like in the last
his
year,
age
it's
has got
alarming me.
there. But I'm telling you, man,
It's alarming me
You
in
just
the
seen
last
him
year.
on Monday Night Raw. He's
You look
still
like he hasn't
doing
slept since he
fantastic.
signed you.
It's Bill
I'm serious. I mean, he had bags under his eyes to hold the roster. I was like, Vince. And what's with the lipstick on him?
Because he's old.
Somebody put lipstick
When you
on
get old, you'll be wearing lipstick.
I don't want Vince to have pink, rosy
All right,
lips.
so we got
Don't
about
forget, it's all entertainment now.
That's true.
We got-
So,
this
guess
is
you can
true.
we got about 2 minutes. I'm gonna name a couple
Okay.
wrestlers. Just some quick thoughts. Bret Hart,
Sure.
Fantastic, excellence of execution, unbelievable,
Randy Savage,
icon,
Ted DiBiase,
greatest manager ever.
Hogan.
Well, I'd have to not the greatest wrestler, but he led what opened up the door to make it such a tremendous business. You got to give your hats off to Hogan.
All right, the last one, Tatanka.
Nice.
That's a good one. I've never had that one. That's a
There you
good
go,
one.
Mike.
A guy that can't honor who he is as a Native American. When I looked at this industry from ballots, that's one of the things I thought about. Look what I can do if I can get to that stage as a Native American. And to end with that, I've had so many Native Americans. To Native Americans, it wasn't Hulk Hogan. To Native Americans, it was Tatanka, because I am their own. They look for the native who has got off the reserve and been successful. I can't tell you how many stories I've got of natives who were going to commit suicide and they see me on TV and they didn't commit suicide.
Get out.
Natives who did not have
Wow.
a diploma went back to school.
Wow.
People who lost their family, reconstructed their family, made their family successful, have kids. Why? Because he's seen another Native American on TV. If he can do it, I can do it. So that's what I seen. Someone who could represent his people. So that's what it was about.
Fantastic.
Nice.
All right, with that, we're going to call it a day. Sir, it's our pleasure that you came on to our show here, and what incredible stories you have. I thoroughly enjoyed this interview.
Oh, thank you. It's
so
awesome
much.
to be on the Monty and Pharaoh show. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Anytime I'm here, would love to hook up with you guys. It's
Absolutely.
a pleasure. It's an honor.
Thank
you
you.
very much.
It's our
For your
pleasure.
love of the industry, too. You guys know everything.
Well,
You
thank
sit
you
and
very
enjoy
much.
it.
I appreciate
So thank
it.
you for everything that you do. We appreciate you.
All right. You want to pop on real quick?
Sure, always.
Eric Sims,
Always need on air time. Look at that.
squeeze in here, sir.
Of course. Always gotta
Just put that mic right up to
always
you.
gotta get the plugs in.
You know,
man.
Chris, real quick, what's it like traveling with Eric Sims?
He's tough, man. He's tough, man. Last night I just stepped out of the ring, working main event, working hard. I just got to the locker room. I'm undressing fast. Who comes around the corner, standing above me, like, let's go.
Sims, nice.
Eric Sims, and I only been out of the ring but like a couple minutes.
I'm a goddamn slave driver. We stick tight to the schedule. All
right, what do you got? What
I
do you
need my
got?
beauty rest, you know.
What do you got going
long
on,
travel
Eric?
up here. All right. So tonight we are again because I can't remember shit at that stage. East Coast Professional Wrestling, Burke Catholic High School. That's 80 Fletcher Street, Goshen, New York. That's somewhere up near Middletown, New York. Tatanka's on it. Mr. USA Tony Atlas, Jimmy Hart, the East Coast Professional Wrestling organization, and if you want to see all the upcoming events with ESS Promotions, all the different talents, www.esspromotions.com, and it's no BS. with ESS.
Beautiful. And with that, we're going to call it a day. One favor you can do me, though, if you run across Puma King, beat the shit out of that guy.
Puma King.
Oh,
you know him too.
No, but you know what? You brought this up. I don't know if we got time, but you brought this up. It's amazing. Some of these names you hear, you don't even know. I've never even heard of him. Don't even know who he is. Me and Jimmy Hart were just talking about this. Guys from my industry, you know their names 30 years later. You walk down the airport, Tatanka, Jimmy Hart.
Yeah.
Right.
Some of these guys now, 2-3 years later, you're not even going to know who they are.
And when they ask you to make a name, you didn't make it after a sneaker.
Of course,
Right?
exactly.
There you
Come
go.
on, man.
We're right back to feet.
wrong?
All right, this has been another episode of Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. We thank you all for joining, and until next Thursday, this is Mike Monty.
This is the Pharaoh.
Have a great
Until
day.
Thursday. Later.
Conversation, they're all dead. The lines cut off inside my head. I left here like a broken man with no idea of where I stand. Oh, my mind clear. Oh, I shed all my tears. Oh, now baby, I was just waiting here while you moved on. Security, this newfound freedom you kept from me. The sound of all your loaded guns. This outbreak war has just begun. The sound of all your loaded guns. This broken man has already won. Oh, my mind clear.